Is it time to give up on Bol Bol? When Bol Bol was originally drafted by the Denver Nuggets, there was a ton of hype and excitement around his name. But at this point, it's already been 3 seasons with limited production, mostly due to limited minutes, which makes you think what's going on with this Bol Bol situation. But quickly before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports, I make opinionative NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. But anyways, let's get into it.
Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetic.
I think it's pretty clear to anyone who's ever watched Bol Bol play out there that he has a very unique game. And due to the uniqueness of his game, that's the reason why a lot of people got excited for him going forward in his career. Because if a player like Bol Bol of that skill set was able to figure everything out eventually, the sky's the limit for a player like that. But what actually makes Bol's game so unique? And why were so many different scouts and NBA fans so excited about him going into the NBA draft? So the obvious and simple answer is he's at a 7'2" size and also has the ball handling ability of a point guard. But getting a little more in depth with it, let's start with Bol Bol's 3-point shooting ability. So Bol has a nice ability to hit that catch and shoot 3-point shot, which is especially effective in the pick and pop situations. But the uniqueness of his game really shines from that 3-point range in the sense that not only does he have the ability to catch and shoot from that 3-point range, but he also has the ability to cross over into a 3-point shot, take the ball up the court and pull up from that 3-point range. Also has the ability to hit side steps and step backs. Basically, he has all the abilities that you would think a point guard, shooting guard, or small forward would have. Not a guy who's at that 7'2" size, which makes him so unique. But now talking about his mid-range shooting ability, Bol certainly has the ability to catch and shoot from that mid-range area. Of course, has all the abilities in terms of those side steps, step backs, cross over into a mid-range jump shot. He especially has a really nice pull-up mid-range jump shot as well, where he could just rise over whatever player's defending him, because of course he has a great wingspan and is also 7'2", as I mentioned. He also has a pretty nice post turnaround fadeaway within his game, and he has decent footwork, I would say, but of course based on his size and length, it doesn't really matter. He kind of just rises above any defender, and they wouldn't really even be able to get a decent contest on him. He's just way too tall for everybody else, basically. So he uses that shot very effectively, which is exactly something you would want to see from a guy of his size. But in terms of his ability to drive all the way to the basket, he has a pretty nice ability due to the fact that he's very mobile, can get by his initial defender and dunk on whatever player's in the paint. He also has a decent touch around the basket with nice little baby floaters in the paint, a nice little hook shot if he gets post position, which is a big if considering the strength level that he's at currently. He also has a decent ability, I would say, to finish layups around the basket. And overall, Bol Bol is just a 3-level scorer at this point, I would say. He has the ability to do a little bit of everything, but he doesn't necessarily do anything extraordinarily well, besides maybe his ball handling ability for being 7'2", and also of course his mobility for his size. But that's why there's so much excitement, because of the potential what this guy could potentially be if he gets a knockdown 3-point shot, which honestly he's not too far off from, or if he has an ability to drive all the way to the basket every play, have a nice little mid-range jump shot, and just be very efficient and effective with all these shots. That's a potential that he has offensively. And defensively, of course he has the ability to rebound, basically solely due to his length and wingspan. He doesn't necessarily box out very well due to obvious reasons. He's not obviously that strong compared to other centers, but also defensively he does a pretty nice job at coming over for a weak side block. But overall, when looking at his game, I think it's pretty clear that he's a work in progress, but at the same time he's a very exciting work in progress. But although there was a ton of excitement when Bol Bol was drafted into the NBA, in Denver he really didn't get much playing time whatsoever. Of course, in his rookie season he was injured for the entire season with a foot injury, but even in his second season when he was available to play, he didn't really get many minutes. He was basically a situational player where he would only play in garbage time or if one of the players that played his position were injured and the Nuggets really needed him to play. But besides that, he didn't really get any meaningful minutes for the most part that season. And of course, during the NBA bubble, he certainly did see a lot more minutes and played some meaningful minutes in the bubble. And we certainly saw some flashes of what Bol could potentially do consistently going forward in the NBA, but he didn't necessarily get a crazy amount of minutes in the bubble. And then the season following, Bol was basically right back to his old role where he was just a situational player for the most part. Now, a lot of NBA fans point to the fact that Bol wasn't getting any meaningful minutes for the most part in his young NBA career to the reason behind the fact that he wasn't really making any major improvements within his game. Because of course, if he can't get on the court, how would he improve at all? Now, I certainly think that's a very fair point. If you're not getting any meaningful minutes and not getting a really good experience on the court, it is very difficult to improve your game overall. But at the same time, I think there's two sides to the story. backstory, and we really need to look into why the Nuggets weren't playing him. Because of course, if the Nuggets thought he was a fantastic talent already at this point and gave them the best opportunity to win, he would have been playing. So let's look at a few different possibilities for why the Nuggets weren't playing him. Now, all these reasons are going to be my personal opinion and speculation. I don't necessarily know the real reason for why, but the first reason that I wanted to touch upon is the fact that the Denver Nuggets were in win now mode. And we see this with a bunch of teams in the NBA who are in win now mode. If they have a player that they just drafted or just a younger player in general on their team that is more so of a raw talent, which Bol Bol kind of is, to be honest, that team most likely would not give that player that many minutes, and they would probably just be a situational player, which Bol Bol was, and that team would much rather sign a player in free agency that was a veteran or just a player that would give them a much better opportunity to win right now, rather than just play a rookie just to play that rookie, who could eventually of course turn into a really good player long term, but currently at that point he was mostly a raw player and wasn't necessarily the best player they could be playing in order to actually win right now. So honestly, I think that's the first and main reason for why the Nuggets weren't playing Bol Bol that much. But the next reason that I wanted to touch upon is it could be as simple as the head coach Mike Malone didn't think Bol Bol was ready at that point. Now of course this isn't necessarily something that's been reported, this is complete speculation, but maybe Mike Malone wasn't happy about Bol Bol's weight, maybe he wanted him to gain some more weight before he got more meaningful minutes on the court, or maybe he wasn't happy about one aspect of his game and wanted him to improve in certain aspects. And if a head coach is right or wrong about their opinion on a player, on if they're actually ready or not, that's besides the point. The head coach makes the decisions, and if they think a player's not ready, they're not going to play. It's as simple as that. And whatever the reason ended up being, it was pretty clear that the Nuggets didn't necessarily value Bol Bol very highly, because of course they tried to trade him to the Pistons, and of course that failed due to a physical, but eventually they did trade him to the Boston Celtics. Now in Boston, I honestly think it's a similar situation in the sense that the Celtics are clearly in win now mode, but at the same time they certainly do lack big man depth, so maybe Bol Bol can get some more opportunities in Boston, and hopefully he does for his sake. Now in my opinion, I certainly do think that Bol Bol has a ton of talent, and I don't necessarily think he should be out of the NBA or anything. I think he really needs to go to a situation where he would get more of an opportunity, and maybe he's not a great player, that's obviously entirely possible, but I would just like to see him get that opportunity before people give up on him. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys think it's time to give up on Bol Bol, or do you think he needs a bigger opportunity? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, check one of these two videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.
Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetics. Hope you can't go where I'm headed.